The moment that changed everything. Have you ever wondered why some people seemed age gracefully, staying sharp and balanced into their 80s, while others begin to stumble both mentally and physically by their late 60s? What if the real danger isn't your genetics or your past health mistakes, but what you do every single morning? I'm going to say something bold that might go against everything you've heard. Some of the most common healthy habits among seniors in America today are quietly damaging your brain, your blood vessels, and your balance, and it often starts before breakfast. As a doctor who has spent over 3 decades working with older adults, I've seen stroke victims who never smoked, memory loss in people with clean diets, and heart events in patients who walked every day. The culprit? Hidden, misunderstood habits, not disease. In the next few minutes, I'll reveal 5 specific things many seniors do each morning that can quietly raise your risk of stroke, memory decline, and chronic dizziness. You'll also learn simple, doctor-approved changes that could protect your brain, heart, and independence starting tomorrow. Because healing isn't about adding more pills. Sometimes, it's about subtracting what no longer serves you. What 30 years as a doctor taught me. I've been practicing medicine for over 30 years. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's this: the most dangerous health threats are not always loud. They do not always show up in blood tests or scans. They often whisper, they creep in slowly, and they live inside the choices we think are harmless. I have cared for thousands of older adults, grandparents, retired teachers, veterans, people who never missed a doctor's visit. Many of them believed they were doing everything right. They followed the rules, took their vitamins, watched their cholesterol, walked every morning, ate their greens. But even with all that effort, something kept happening. They started losing balance. Their memory slipped. Their blood pressure spiked without warning. And then came the diagnosis: stroke, vascular dementia, neuropathy. I began asking myself, how can this be? How can someone do everything we recommend and still end up in the hospital? So I went deeper. I started listening more, not just to test results, but to daily habits, morning routines, the little rituals that seemed too small to matter. And I found a pattern: not disease, not bad luck, but quiet overload. Too many pills, too little hydration, too much stress before the sun even rises. What I am about to share with you might go against what you've heard, but I do not say this to scare you. I say it to protect you, because if we do not understand how these quiet choices add up, we end up blaming age for problems that were actually preventable. And I believe every senior deserves better than that. You deserve clarity, you deserve strength, and you deserve to live each morning without fear. Dangerous habit 1. The healthy supplement before breakfast. Let me tell you about George. George is 71. He is a retired Navy officer, disciplined, alert, the kind of man who folds his shirts perfectly and still wakes up before sunrise. Every morning, George would sit at the kitchen table, line up his supplements, and take them with a glass of orange juice. One for his bones, one for his heart, one for his memory, and one that he believed was doing the most good: a high-dose vitamin D capsule. He was doing what many seniors across America do, trusting that more vitamins meant more protection. But what George did not know was that his 10,000 IU vitamin D was quietly raising the calcium in his blood. Day after day, week after week. One morning, George stood up from the sofa and collapsed. His wife rushed to him. His speech was slurred. One side of his body wouldn't move. It was a stroke. Later, blood tests showed his calcium was too high. His arteries were stiff, and his blood pressure had been spiking at night. What caused it? Not junk food, not smoking. It was a supplement. You see, vitamin D is fat soluble. That means your body stores it. Too much over time can harden your arteries and raise blood pressure, especially when taken with calcium or heart medications. Many seniors take 5,000 or 10,000 IU daily without ever checking their blood levels. But studies show that most older adults need only 600 to 800 IU per day, and only if they are deficient. And one more thing, taking vitamin D at night can worsen the problem. Morning is the safer time. The lesson from George is simple. A vitamin is not always a blessing, and more is not always better. Dangerous habit 2. Skipping water first thing in the morning. If there is one habit I wish every senior would adopt, starting tomorrow, it is this: drink a glass of water before anything else in the morning. No pills, no coffee, just water. Let me explain why. When you sleep for 7 or 8 hours, your body loses water through your breath and skin. You may not feel thirsty when you wake up, but your brain and blood are already running low on fluid. In older adults, this is even more dangerous. As we age, our sense of thirst weakens. That means many seniors wake up mildly dehydrated every day and do not even know it. What happens then? Your blood gets thicker, your blood pressure rises, your arteries become less flexible, and your brain, which depends on steady blood flow, gets stressed. I once had a patient named Ruth. She was 78, bright and active, but she kept having dizzy spells in the morning. Her tests looked fine, medications unchanged. The answer was simple. She had been drinking coffee first, then taking her pills, but never water. We added 1 glass of room temperature water the moment she woke up. Within a week, the dizziness stopped. That one small act gave her stability back. So before you reach for your coffee or vitamins, give your body what it truly needs. Water. Not cold, not from a sports bottle, just plain, clean water in a glass. It helps your kidneys. It softens your blood flow, and it wakes up your brain the right way. Sometimes the most powerful medicine is not in a bottle. It is in the glass you forgot to fill. Dangerous habit 3. Late night screens and the brain. For many seniors, the quiet of the evening brings comfort. A favorite TV show, a late movie, or scrolling through family photos on a tablet in bed. But what feels relaxing may be quietly stealing from your brain. You see, your brain has a natural rhythm. It follows the rise and fall of daylight. At night, it expects darkness, so it can release melatonin, the hormone that helps you fall into deep, healing sleep. But when you expose your eyes to bright screens, phones, tablets, or TV, especially within an hour before bed, your brain gets confused. It thinks the sun is still up, so it holds back the melatonin. The result? You fall asleep later. You wake up feeling groggy, and your brain misses the deep sleep it needs to clear waste and restore memory. One of my patients, Barbara, was 74. She told me she watched her favorite crime series every night to relax. But lately, she had been forgetting names and waking up feeling heavy. I asked her to try something different. Turn off the screens 45 minutes before bed. Use a warm reading light, and listen to soft music or do some light stretching instead. 2 weeks later, she felt sharper. Her energy returned, and for the first time in months, she said, she woke up without brain fog. Sleep is not just rest, it is repair, and your evening habits decide whether your brain will heal or struggle by morning. So tonight, give your mind the gift of darkness. It has worked hard for you all day. Now let it recover in peace. Dangerous habit 4. The healthy breakfast that spikes your blood sugar. Let us talk about breakfast, the most misunderstood meal of the day. Many of my senior patients tell me proudly what they eat in the morning. A low-fat fruit yogurt, a banana, a bowl of granola with almond milk, maybe a glass of orange juice. It sounds healthy, right? But here is the problem. All of these foods are high in sugar, even the ones labeled natural or light. When eaten alone, they cause your blood sugar to rise quickly, and just as quickly, it crashes. This spike and drop can leave you feeling shaky, tired, dizzy, or irritable by mid-morning, and over time, it stresses your blood vessels, raises inflammation, and increases your risk of memory issues and stroke. One of my patients, Harold, was 79. He kept complaining about his hands trembling. By a.m., he thought it was anxiety, but when I asked about his breakfast, it became clear. He was drinking fruit smoothies every morning. We changed his breakfast to something simple: 1 boiled egg, half an avocado, a slice of whole grain toast, and a handful of blueberries. No sugar rush, no crash. The next week, Harold walked into my office steadier than I had seen him in months. The right breakfast does not need to be fancy. It just needs to be balanced. Protein to keep you full, healthy fats for your brain, fiber to slow sugar absorption. Your brain does not need a burst of sugar, it needs steady fuel. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for that sweet cereal or juice box, ask yourself this: is this food helping my brain stay strong, or setting it up to fail by lunchtime? Dangerous habit 5: taking advice from a bottle. Not a doctor. Walk into any pharmacy in America, and you will see shelves packed with promises, brain boosters, memory formulas, heart protectors, nerve support capsules, each bottle with a bright label, bold claims, and smiling faces. But here is the truth nobody tells you. Most supplements are not regulated the way prescription drugs are. They can contain more than you need, or less, and they are often based on studies done in younger people, not older adults whose bodies process things very differently. I once met a woman named Dolores. She was 82, independent, and sharp. But she started noticing her hands trembled and her legs felt weak. She thought it was just age catching up. When I reviewed her supplements, I counted 12 bottles. 2 for memory, 1 for joints, 1 for circulation, 1 for energy, and 4 different multivitamins. Each one seemed harmless on its own, but together, they created a silent storm. Too much vitamin B6, too much vitamin E, too many overlapping ingredients that affected her nerves and blood pressure. She did not need more pills. She needed better information. So we simplified. We kept only the ones she truly needed, based on lab work and medical guidance. Within weeks, her symptoms improved. Here is the lesson. Just because something is over the counter does not mean it is safe for your body. Just because a label says natural does not mean it is right for you. And just because something worked for your neighbor does not mean it will help you. Your health deserves more than guesswork. Before you add one more pill to your shelf, ask your doctor, ask your body, and most of all, ask whether this habit is still serving the person you are today. Healing Shift, a true story of recovery through simplicity. Let me introduce you to Margaret. She is 73 years old, a retired school principal from Arizona. Organized, thoughtful, a woman who spent her life guiding others. When I first met her, she pulled out a drawer filled with supplements. Vitamin D for her bones, vitamin E for her heart, a B complex for energy, niacin for cholesterol, a multivitamin, and 3 more for brain support. She looked at me and said, "I am doing everything right. So why do I feel so tired every morning? Why is my balance off? Why do I feel like I am fading?" Her blood work was clean, her heart was strong, but her mornings were heavy, and I could see it in her eyes. Something was missing. So I suggested something simple. Let us take a break from the pills. Not all of them, just most. Let us give your body room to breathe. Instead of a handful of capsules, we built her breakfast. 1 boiled egg for clean protein, half an avocado for healthy fats, a slice of whole grain toast for steady energy, a handful of blueberries for antioxidants, and a glass of water, nothing more. In just 3 weeks, her mornings began to shift. She woke up clearer, her balance returned, her smile came back. She told me, "Did not realize how much noise I was putting into my body." And that was the lesson. Sometimes healing is not about doing more. It is about doing less with intention. Margaret did not find her strength in a bottle. She found it in silence, in clarity, in food that her body could recognize and trust. And so can you. Final lesson and gentle advice to the audience. If you have stayed with me this far, then you already understand something powerful. Your body is not broken. It is not failing. It is simply reacting to what it is given. Every day, every morning, every choice. Let us take a moment to look back. George taught us that even a simple vitamin can become harmful when taken in excess. Ruth reminded us that a single glass of water can bring balance back to the brain. Barbara showed us that turning off the screens before bed can restore deep, healing sleep. Harold helped us see how the wrong breakfast, even one labeled healthy, can leave us dizzy and drained. And Dolores revealed the truth about supplements, that when taken without guidance, they can quietly do more harm than good. These are not just stories. They are reminders that your morning matters, that small habits shape your future, and that sometimes the best medicine is not found in a pharmacy but in awareness. Here is the lesson I hope you carry with you. Your body still wants to protect you. Your brain still wants to stay sharp. Your heart still wants to keep beating strong. But it needs your help. Not through fear, not through more pills, but through gentle, thoughtful care. So tomorrow morning, before you follow an old routine, pause. Ask yourself, is this helping me? Or is this simply familiar? You are not too old to make a change. You are not too late to feel better. And you are not alone in this journey. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone you care about. Because sometimes, the quietest story can save the loudest life. And you, a friend, still have many mornings ahead worth protecting. Let us make them count.